So I've always been quite into politics, but I've found that in Gibraltar it's always been quite alienating and quite just sort of seems like something a bit out of reach. And I think a lot of young people have felt similarly and felt like they don't really have a voice.
Benji.
Hey guys.
Hey.
Hey, Benji.
When you don't see people that look like yourself there in Parliament.
You don't relate.
And yeah, you can't relate to the lawyers that sit out there, and it does help if...
and vice versa.
Yeah,
all the divisive two-party thing is just very polarising in a small community. Things have to be more transparent, and there aren't decisions being made behind closed doors.
Yeah, absolutely. And when politics, as I say, comes across a bit alienating, it was just a bit of a career ladder rather than people getting involved with a purpose. And I really think that that's something we can sort of...
Yeah, and I think like in a small place like Gibraltar, it's all the more important to have real representation from our parliamentarians so that people can relate, because in Gibraltar nobody's anonymous. Everybody is a face and a person. So it's very important for people to understand who their politicians are and to identify them and relate to them.
I think Gibraltar is quite unique in the sense that everyone feels engaged in the process of politics and everyone has an opinion, but I think people feel that there's a lack of a platform or voice for their representation, and I think that really hit on a few key points as well with regards to the cross section, and it's nice to see, at least here in the Together Gibraltar Party, that we do have that cross section of society representation.
No, of course that's true. Also the different industries that are being reflected amongst us. The truth is that very often you won't find true representation from a particular industry or business. And it is important that we have people over there who know this stuff inside out, going through and then serving as those stakeholders who will be responsible for setting policies further down the line.
I was talking to somebody, a homemaker recently, and she was saying, oh, I've got no, there's no way I could become a politician. I'm saying, no, actually, you'd be ideal because you understand exactly the issues that affect you and you're representative of a lot of people. So at the end of the day, having people like you in Parliament is very important. Why? Because we've got groups that are representative of our community, and at the moment, I don't feel it is. Politics is becoming very elitist and, as I said earlier, very polarised. But ultimately, I think people are afraid and think that, politics isn't something that's accessible to the common person. And the reality is, it is.
And how funny is that we're looking to democratize democracy, right? We're trying to take democracy back to the people, take politics back to the people. I think that's a very noble mission of ours.
I feel that, for example, this loose reference to Gibraltar PLC, I think is one that I would rather not see in Parliament. The PLC infers shareholders. And I don't think that language should be used by ministers.
No, of course that's right. Who are the shareholders?
Exactly.
Right. Is it us as citizens? In that case, we should all be able to prosper as a result of it, and that's not always the case. So we do see that there's a widening gap between the very prosperous and those who are perhaps not quite so privileged.
Yeah. Benji, why did you get involved?
To give back, really. That's really why I think anyone ought to get involved, but really to give back a little bit to the community. This is an opportunity to do that, to work with hugely talented people and build something new, build something that the community will really draw value from.
Come to the table for Gibraltar because I feel passionate about Gibraltar. It's my homeland, my family have always lived here, and I feel that I want to give something back to the community I've served. I've served as a police officer here, and now I feel that I can make a difference to Gibraltar.
Daniel, do you want to sit down here and join in?
Bring the dog as well.
Bring the dog as well.
What are your plans for Christmas?
My wife and kids are Christmas crazy, so I'll be basically kind of just caught up in that wave of presents, family. For me, Christmas is family time, really good quality family time. So it's just take that step back, make sure that we actually dedicate time to each other, catch up, have a laugh. For a lot of people, Christmas has a deep and important religious significance. And I wish them all the happiest Christmas possible. But for me, it's just quality family time, and I think I'm looking forward to that one.
What about you? What are you doing for Christmas?
Yeah, much the same. With 4 kids, so spend time wrapping presents and enjoying running around chasing them. But actually, for us, Christmas really is a time to hunker down. The year's so busy; it flies by in a blink of an eye. And I think it's nice to try and detach yourself a little bit from business and
Everyday life.
and everyday life. Yeah, and just cuddle up on the sofa, chuck the kids about, or whatever, you know, but just actually spend some quality time.
Christmas movies,
Yeah.
What do you do on Christmas?
endless Christmas.
My twin boys find it very magical. It is a great time, and we eat a great deal. Spend it with family. It's a time for reflection as well.
Everybody eats.
It's a time-
vegetarian.
It is. I think it is a trait. I think it binds us, but generally, I find it a time for reflection as well. And I find it a time to be appreciative of what we have, and
That's a very important point.
absolutely.
You touched on something really fair, which is at the end of the day, you know, there are those who don't get to celebrate family time and don't really have all that magic, because at the end of the day they're experiencing deprivation, hardship, family members are being affected by disease, etc. And you know, it's a time to
For the
celebrate
year
what
that
we've
has
got.
gone and that
Absolutely.
we've made it through.
But I think,
Absolutely,
I think
but also to
Sorry.
be mindful of the fact that there are others that don't have, and to try and help.
But you've also got a really strong community that are very aware of other people's needs, and there's a lot that goes on. We're really fortunate to have such a broad-minded community who are quite keen to help others. There's loads of people who are collecting clothes, and not just food, but other items and presents that they wrap up and give to the poor, particularly in Spain, in La Niña.
Yeah.
There's a lot of help there, and so it's nice, and it's great that you mentioned that. But I think it reflects what people locally do. They do think about other people too, who are less fortunate.
On behalf of Together Gibraltar, we would like to wish you and your families a very healthy, happy and safe Christmas and a great new year to come for this wonderful community of ours. Okay, so let's say Merry Christmas together and blank really cheesy.
Yeah.
Okay, come on. Yeah. Okay, ready, steady.
the lead, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Are
You're
you
going
rolling?
to count down? Merry Christmas!
I think that's okay.
Oh, that was...